Good morning and welcome to the Daily Ramble here on Claret and Booze. My name's Gary and this is my Daily Ramble, an international Daily Ramble. As we head over to the banks of the Rhine, West Ham fans flying out all yesterday, all today, heading over there, drinking around Cologne, with the odd one in Dusseldorf, but not many. Cologne's more of a party city than Dusseldorf. Having said that, neither of them are party cities, to be honest. But good place to get a beer, that's for sure. Absolutely, blinding. Some of the pictures from yesterday made me a little bit jealous. It was a bit sunny, very, very sunny, very sunny. We ain't seen that yellow thing for a while, have we? So I'm about to head off into the city. I've got to get back, a couple of meetings, get back, and hopefully in time for the game. I will be in time for the game, let's face it. Right, let's before we start, please can you help us by subscribing to the channel Claret and Booze, hit the bell notification icon, and give the video a like. So on with the injury news to start with. So Jarrod Bowen's out, as we all know, with what sounds like a bruised spine. Sounds like he was in a fair bit of pain the other day when he went to the hospital. Who knows? Who knows? Those things are a bit of a mystery. That could heal, depends on the power of his healing, I think, how quickly he heals. He's relatively young, who knows? Calvin Phillips is out. His first injury for West Ham. He's barely played. He's got his first injury. A slight hamstring, apparently. Don't know how many weeks. Areola hasn't travelled with the team. So it will be Fabianski tonight. And Leverkusen are missing one player, Adam Hlozek. I think someone we were linked with several times. He's their second choice, number 9. It will be a miss, but not as much as us with Jarrod Bowen, that's for sure. So the media have been busy. West Ham have been out in force. Michael Antonio on his podcast. I'm going to read this actually word for word. It's actually quite good. There's a few things in here I like. And I mean, look, you've got to be optimistic going into a game like this, right? We are the underdogs. There's no point in denying it. He said we've got nothing to lose, and he's right about that. He said, going into the game, everyone thinks the game is theirs already. Everyone thinks we've lost. And when people expect us to lose, that's generally when we don't. Other things happen. 2 years ago, we went to Seville, lost 1-0, came back, and everyone thought it was over. But because they always win the Europa League and stuff like that. But what happens? It was us. We knocked them out, and what a great night that was. And last year with Fiorentina, he gave another example. He said they're a better team, but we won again. So he said we're going to take it easy, go there, believe, and go out there and do what we can. As long as we perform well, it doesn't matter if we win or lose. Yes, it does. We just have to go out there and do enough for the fans to be happy. He's actually right there. As long as they play well and give it their all, the fans will be happy. That includes me. I can't go back on my beliefs, can I? Right, so Alonso was interviewed pre-match and he obviously picked out our main key threats. He said Paqueta is a brilliant, brilliant player. Kudus is great. Bowen is out, so he's not going to be so great. And Antonio he picked out. But one surprise he picked out was also Thomas Soucek, Mr. Spinny Spinny. Said he's very underrated. The way he was talking, he seemed to know us quite well about what's being said. And I found that a little bit unsettling. It's like he's been attending West Ham games in disguise or watching YouTube channels and finding out what people think of people. Who knows? But one thing's for sure, whoever's giving him his information, they're good. They're good. David Moyes in his pre-match, he was smiling uncomfortably, let's be honest, about the challenge ahead of him. It was a bit of a cheesy grin, but pointing out it's 11 against 11, which it is. That's absolutely right. And West Ham have made... He was asked one question, actually, and his response surprised me. He said, the journo said, West Ham have made a bit of a habit of beating big teams like Lyon and Seville in Europe. And why is that? And he responded, without delay, he responded, a bit of my character, bit of my personality, bit of the way I operate and challenge the players to be better, which is why we need big leadership and the players to show a level of composure, tactical understanding, with the knowledge that we are away in a two-legged tie to a side who have not lost in 41 games. I mean, how self-centered is that guy? So, they spoke about the loss to Frankfurt It would have been, oh yeah, we didn't play very well that night. It's a lack of discipline. He would have blamed the players, right? But for the big wins, he takes total credit for it. Now, if you went to the second leg against Seville, you will remember a pivotal turning point in that game was the wonderful save from Areola early on from the header. You know, that goes in, different game. But he takes total credit for it because obviously at that point where we let the guy get the header, that was the players not following his instructions. And afterwards, everything good that happened, we were following his instructions, right? Such a fucking ego. But anyway, let's not dwell on him. It gave me heartburn. Leverkusen themselves are widely liked and admired outside of Germany and disliked inside Germany. And the reason they're disliked is the clues in the name Bayer. Bayer are a pharmaceutical company. The whole town of Leverkusen is dominated by this Bayer, series of factories and buildings and God knows what, right? They're the biggest employer. And it is a works team. Like we were the Thames Iron Works, this is a works team, albeit for a pharmaceuticals company. Founded in 1904, I think the team was founded, so only marginally after us. But what the Germans don't like about Bayer Leverkusen is, first of all, the name Bayer is in the name of the team. Well, that would have been the same for Thames Ironworks, right? Thames Ironworks they've just kept the same name, unlike us, right? But another thing they don't like is the way that Bayer actually fund. They're quite. They'll buy a stadium. They'll buy them a player. They'll make them progress. That's why they haven't been relegated since they first entered the Bundesliga in 1979, and they're about to win their first Bundesliga after finishing runners up 5 times and getting to the Champions League final and winning the Europa League in that period. They'll wrap that title up on Saturday, I expect, with a win against Werder Bremen. They're a great team. Let's not underestimate this. They are a great team. So I've been overdosing on opposition fans and hearing what they've got to say. I think it's fair to say most teams play the way we're going to approach this against Leverkusen, and they haven't lost in 41 games. Every team they've played against, no matter who, has spoken about breaking their record, right? Because literally every team they played Bremen on Saturday, they've got the same opportunity. The following week, everyone's got that same. Even Karabag were talking about it. So we're not special in this, right? One thing I have picked up is if and when we get chances early on, we need to take them, right? Because what they tend to do is in the few games that they've struggled, they have not taken their early chances. They haven't lost, but it's taken them a while to turn that game around. So they've had clear chances, they haven't taken them. And that is something that definitely could happen with Areola in goal, let's face it, right? You can see that. You can see them missing a few chances or making a few stunning saves. But the same must be true for us. The same rule must be true for us. We cannot spurn chances, as chances are going to be few and far between, and we've got to take them. The good news is the goals that they've more or less conceded have been a lot of set pieces. So corners, free kicks. There ain't many of these goals, by the way. 18 and 19 in the league. Penalties, that's it. But also a couple of counter-attack goals as well. And my concern here is that we're going to be so deep that our counter-attack is going to be non-functional. It's just going to be an outball. The counter-attack is effectively an outball to Antonio. That's what I'm worried about, that we're just going to do the one-dimensional thing. If we look at the likely team tonight, I'm thinking he's going to go ultra defensive. And I'm thinking this is what I suspect he will play. A 5-man defence, masquerading as a 3, right? But it'll be Soufal, Dinos, Zuma, Cresswell, Emerson. There'll be a 4-man midfield. This is where I think he'll use Johnson because he can't drop him. Kudus, Johnson, Souček, Paqueta. And then roaming around up front on his own, and probably back defending as well, Antonio. Now, this is a problem because I'd like to see Soufal stay dropped because he's been awful and this team's got pace. We don't want to see this team running against Soufal. We really don't. And Johnson's more of a wing-back than Soufal anyway. So I'd like to see Soufal dropped. I'd like to see Paqueta left. And that's unusual for me. I don't like to see him on the left, but there's a reason. Bear with me, right? I'd like to see Paqueta left, Ings in the middle, Kudos right, and Antonio up front. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see something like that. I'm not sure. I mean, if we did that, that would mean that we would only have one in the middle. So I'd put Johnson at right wing back. Yeah, Johnson at right wing back. Soufal dropped. So my selection would be Johnson, Dinos, Zuma, Cresswell, Emerson. Then I would play Souček as the anchor role in front of them. Right, we're going to get overrun anyway. Then I would play Paqueta, Kudus, and Ings. I'd play Ings in the number 9 behind Antonio. And what that gives us is more of an attacking look and feel. I don't think for a minute it's going to happen, and I don't know how successful it would be. But I'm just saying, I do have a feeling those two teams I've listed just then didn't include James Ward-Prowse. But I think James Ward-Prowse will play because Bowen's out, and who else is going to take the set pieces? And we know that we're going to be depending on set pieces big time tonight. The bench is looking sparse. I mean, apart from either Soufal or JWP or whoever makes bench, the remaining bench is going to be Cornet, Ings, Oggy, and some kids, right? I think we can do it tonight because this is still a sport, right? Football's still a sport, even though it's helped out by VAR. To give the big teams an advantage, but it's still a sport at the moment. We're going to go there. We're going to give it our all. Anything could happen in sport, right? And so there could be an injury, there could be a sending off, there could be an own goal, there could be a mistake, there could be anything, right? Let's just hope that this doesn't go too script and they just batter us. Because if it doesn't, I think we can go there and we can come back with a result. And by a result, I mean a 1-goal disadvantage. Anything better than that is dreamland, right? A draw, dreamland. A 2-1 defeat, a 1-0 defeat, brilliant. We can bring them back and we can do something about that. The absolute worst case scenario for me is a two-goal margin defeat. I think we can still turn that around if we took the same approach at home. But, yeah, it'd be tough. It'd be tough. So you can tell I'm overthinking this. I'm going to be overthinking this today while I'm talking to people in work. This is not going to get off my mind until the game starts later. And then I'll probably be hiding behind a cushion, afraid to look. But anyway, look, that is me done. If you've enjoyed this show, please give it a like. Please subscribe to our channel, Claret and Booze. Hit the bell notification icon. And I hope wherever you are, whether you're going to Germany, whether you're going to be sitting at home, whether you're going to an event, wherever you're watching this game tonight, it's a big game, the quarterfinal of the Europa League, away to Bayer Leverkusen, the about to be crowned German Bundesliga champions and potential double winners in Germany. They've got a cup final in a couple of weeks. Right, this is huge. So, on that happy note, let's get this done. Come on, you Irons.